Hello and welcome to GTO Coach and Go. I'm Jim Delleman with Group Travel Odyssey. Thank you for joining us again today. And just a reminder, if you have not done so yet, please make sure to hit that little subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. That will subscribe you to our YouTube channel. Also, if you ring the bell, you'll get notified anytime we have new content on our channel. The channel is great because it gives you all of our old Coach and Go sessions, as well as all of our Destination Dispatch episodes, and a lot of other fun videos that we've put together as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button in YouTube. Also, if you are in LinkedIn, make sure to connect with us on LinkedIn, Group Travel Odyssey, and like the Group Travel Odyssey Facebook page as well. Well, today we have got some really great information that we want to share with you. There's another project that we've been working on for a long time that I know a lot of you have been asking about recently. So instead of keeping it a huge mystery, let's bring on our expert today. So we're going to be bringing on Christina Luth. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Jim.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing well. I'm really excited about today because I know as Kara and I have gone through demos recently, we have a lot of people that are asking questions about P&Ls and auditing and things like that. And it's something that I know as well you've been working on for quite some time. So I think we're getting to that point now where we can go ahead and let people know how this works. So let's talk all things auditing.
All right. So I'm going to go
we're much more excited. We're much more excited about the word audit than I think a lot of people ever really are. So.
Yes, it's been a word thrown around for a while. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
Excellent.
All right. Okay, so I'm actually going to start in Trip Manager today. The audit is going to be in Group Accounting, but I'm just going to explain a few new things in Trip Manager since they're very directly related to the audit process. So the changes that you will notice are going to be at the trip product level. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a Motor Coach, as this will be where there are a couple things. All right, so right away you'll notice there's a couple new fields here, these check boxes and also these two calculated fields. So these two recalculated, as what we call them, budgeted and be booked, the budgeted per person cost, total and per person, are going to be a recalculated budgeted number. So you might have noticed when your trip comes over to Trip Manager, you have just a figure that comes over from Sales Manager. Those are these right here. So this is what's being calculated into your trip price. However, as you change your counts, sometimes those values change and you want to know what the new value is. Or if you add a trip product to Trip Manager, you want to have those numbers. So that is where these fields are coming into play. It's creating a budgeted total product cost based off of your current numbers and a per person cost based off of, again, your numbers. So your group cost, where you notice that's different because your minimum or your group cost numbers might have changed. And then your booked will be the same as before. This checkbox right here, we might go over another time for its multiple uses, but for audits, this use original budgeted cost, this is just for your purposes in your audit when you're comparing your budgeted per person to your booked per person. If you want to make sure it's only going to pull this one from your Sales Manager, you can click this box, but by default, it will always take this unless it's 0 because you added a product, then it will take this one. But that is the purpose of this box right here. And then there's this one. So you might have noticed this checkbox in Group Accounting previously. We just moved it to Trip Manager, and now the value will just be filled in Group Accounting from Trip Manager, and that is the no cost product checkbox. This is used when you have a product on your trip, but you decided not to book it. So you might have had some payments there. Maybe there was like a deposit, but you ultimately don't want to, you don't want to delete it. So you still have your budgeted per person coming into play since it was part of your original price for each person. So you would just check this box so you don't actually show that you owe anything. So that is where that will come into play. If you've already checked that box in group accounting, no worries. We've already made sure it was checked in all the correct places. And then the other new thing in Trip Manager is going to be this booked driver gratuity group. So we added this field as before. This is the one that has been here, and it's more of a per person calculation for this, for the gratuity total. So this is allowing you instead to put in a flat figure where it's a group amount instead of like a $1 per person amount. So when you actually have that booked, you might have already sent out your checks or your cash to your drivers. So now you can just put in that exact figure instead of putting in a per person figure. All right, and now we're gonna go to group accounting. So go to this button, go to group accounting. All right, so this is the same trip in group accounting. You'll notice that in preparation for today's Coach and Go, I went ahead and I filled out everything. So I have already noted payments for everything, and I have also put in all of the payments for products. So that is just to show you a full audit at the end of a trip. You can, of course, do an audit along the way, but as you know as well, when you're running an audit or a profit and loss statement, you really kind of get your better figure once everything is put into as far as money out and money in. All right, so then the other new things I want to quick show you that we added is we added general ledger code. So many of you have asked for this. You can now use this field in reports. If there's a report you want, again, just let us know, put in a help desk request and we can help you out with that. But there is going to be a field added. I'll show you on this record. So for a receivable, you can add a general ledger code. There's just a maximum of 20 characters, and that's just so all the reports fit on your audit appropriately. And you will also have one at the product level. Let me show you over here. And you can see it's same over here as well. Same thing, 20 character maximum. So that is going to be on the payment side. So the payment from the customer and the payment to the supplier. All right, without further ado, we're going to go to the trip audit. And so there is this new button right here. You might have noticed it earlier today as I put it up there. And this is going to be what you click, and it's going to pull up your trip audit. So up here, we just have our basic information so you know what trip you're looking at. All of that is just pulling from the other locations. And then now we have income and expenses. So just for today, I went ahead and I unhid some fields. So these ones that you see as blank or as zeros, if those are going to be breakdowns, these incomes of different types of income for your trip. When you don't actually have any of that type of income, normally it will be hidden. I'm just having them shown right now so that way you can see them for this explanation video. So as you might notice in a lot of accounting softwares, when you want some more detail on a total, you click it. So the audit, it works very similar, where it will tell you to click for detail, or you can also click links for information. So if I click right here, it's going to show me some information about the income for this trip. So we have here, this is going to be everything from your final invoice. So your final invoice, as we've said before, is very important. This is where you get your total income. So it's the breakdown. So what this is doing is it's pulling those items from my final invoice to show me how I got to my total. Over here is a chart of the actual payments made. So that we have our general ledger codes that I input, and then we also have this memo field. This is really just the notes field that already exists. I just shortened it to say memo. So if you did have any notes, they will show over here as well. I just hadn't put any in. And then as I just explained, this is going to be the breakdown. So this is our income for all packages we built for. This is the income for all comps. So if you had a price for a complex, say for instance, you are going to give them a free double package, but they wanted a single. So they might have a small upcharge for that single rate. So you would see that here. Group bulk payments, those are going to be those special items where maybe there's a organization who has offered to donate maybe like $1,000 towards the trip. So maybe you'll see that here. And then there's also this breakdown of different items like additional tickets, meals, cancellation fees. You'll see I did put one there. That's where that's coming from. And any other income. So again, that's just going to sum up the categories from up here. And then you'll be able to see your total for everything that was billed, amount paid, and then amount due. So as you can see, it's showing green and 0 because everything has been paid. If that is not the case, you will see this in red and an amount that is still due. So if you are wanting to click on that audit while the trip is still going, you can do that and it will show you how much is still left over. Keep in mind, it might not be completely accurate if you have not yet completed a final invoice. All right, now for the next part, which is expenses. So expenses is going to be your payables in group accounting, those payments to suppliers. So I'm going to click for detail. All right, so you notice there's a little more meat to these reports. So these first two are just about hotel, and that's from feedback about many of you like to break down different parts of the hotel since there are many different components to that. Keep in mind, all of these budgeted and booked counts are all coming from Trip Manager, and anything marked as paid is going to be a total of payables from group accounting. So this first one here is just comparing budgeted to booked of each type of level. So we have sext to quint, quad, and so on and so forth. So you can compare and see if anything changed, which we were lucky on this one. Nothing actually changed for that per person amount. And then on this next chart, it's going to show us some different components of a hotel. So first we have budgeted versus booked hotel rooms cost. So this is going to be just the total for all rooms. As you can see, we actually had a decrease in that from the booked to the budgeted to the booked. And next we have your total hotel comp cost. So that would be if the hotel decided to give you a complimentary room. It looks like we didn't think they were going to in the budgeted, but they actually gave us one. So that's where that's showing. And then we have our driver room and our TD room, our tour director. So you can see the total there. Looks there was nothing changed. Any breakfast, budgeted and booked. There was no breakfast for this one. And then any hotel fees, which you can see our booked hotel fees were higher than our budgeted. If you want to see where that is coming from, you can just go ahead and click the little eyeball. It will go to your group accounting product. And then you can click this, go to Trip Manager product. And it will go to that same hotel and Trip Manager where you can evaluate all of the information input to see if maybe you made a mistake or if you really just were charged that much extra in fees. I'm just going to go back to where I was. All right, and then this lower part is going to be all of the products, which include hotel. So it's grouped by product type. So here we have airline, and then we have attractions, dining, hotel, as I mentioned, and motor coach. So you can go through and compare. So we have our budgeted per person versus booked. This budgeted, like I mentioned when I was showing in Trip Manager, it's going to take that by default, the budgeted that you had in Sales Manager, unless it's 0, and then it will take that recalculated. Again, this is the no cost product. That was the other thing we went over in Trip Manager. And then we have our budgeted total cost and booked total cost. So the new thing with this budgeted total cost is this is not pulling the total from Sales Manager. It's taking your per person times your current paying passengers. So, or your complete hotel, depending on if this is a hotel or a non-hotel. So that it would be the comparison there. And then your amount paid. So this is the amount from group accounting. This is the payments you actually made. And now we have a column budgeted less booked. So basically here, since it's budgeted minus your booked amount, if you go into the negative, that means that you ended up paying more than you thought you were going to pay. So it looks like we ended up paying a lot more for airline here than we had thought we were going to pay for this trip. And then we can go down and see, so positive are good. That means we profited off of this product. We have a negative there, so we were a little off. You can go down and scroll. Your booked total number is going to be the total number on this trip that you had booked. So if you, for instance, booked more tickets for maybe parents or just family members that were going to go, you might have a higher number. And then we have number of payments made. This is going to be the payments in group accounting, and mostly its purpose is for a link. So if I was to go ahead and click this here, which I'm going to open in another tab. So I'm going to click right click, open link in new tab. What this will do is it opens up a report of all payments for that specific product. So if you wanted to go back and look at the detail, you can.
That's cool.
Yes. And then we have finally the general ledger codes. So as you can see, most of these, the payments, even if I had two, it was the same, but except for Motor Coach. On Motor Coach, I had two separate general ledger codes, so it will show you both there. Again, if you want to see detail, just click this little link of number of payments made, and then you can see maybe what the difference was on in your notes for that field. All right. Now you might have noticed there's some color. So the color is for specific reasons. First, we have red. So the red is going to be showing you if you did not pay the correct amount, whether it was less or more. So for this Belmont Park, we can see our booked total cost. So that's that calculated amount in Trip Managers. Those should be those actual numbers. And then the amount paid. So those are not the same. So this red is meant to alert you that, hey, you might be owed a credit from this place. Or maybe you just had a little bit of a number flub. You missed the number. If you want to go ahead and fix that, so we'll go ahead and we'll open up this product. And I can see again that I had paid $16.50 when it was $16.27.50. Now let's pretend I went and I checked my receipts and, oh yeah, oops, I just entered the wrong number. So we can go ahead and edit this here. And then I'm going to go ahead and fix that to the right number. Save. All right, and then close that. And I'm just going to refresh over here. And you'll see the red is all gone. So that's really just an alert for you. And now we have the purple. The purple is going to be showing you specifically about no-cost products. If you have an amount that you paid, except a no-cost product should have nothing paid on it. It's a no cost. So that's meant for you to go and check, hey, did I just not get refunded, or should I mark that we actually had a deposit? So let's go look at this product and see what it was. Now let's just pretend that I went back and I looked and I saw, oh yeah, there was $25 non-refundable. So this is where those non-refundable records can come into play. I can see my non-refundable payment dates as of August 15th, $25 was non-refundable. And let's pretend I canceled it on August 16th. So, so I lost the $25. So the best way to fix that would be to go to Trip Manager. So go to the Trip Manager product. And we're going to go to Edit. And now we have this $25 that we aren't going to be refunded. So we're just going to put that in a booked per group fee, since it is just a miscellaneous amount. And you can scroll up and see now your booked total product and per person has changed. I'm going to go ahead and save. And we'll go ahead and just to show you, go back to the group accounting product. And you'll see that book total cost is now 25. And we'll refresh. All right, and now you can see the purple's all gone. So that's just to show you, it's just, again, another warning for you that something might not be right, for you to go and check and see if anything has gone wrong there. And now we have cleared out anything that might have been confusing, so we're good on that. Now we have our grouped amounts down here. So these amounts are grouped by a product type. So we grouped them by things that made sense to group together. So you can see what is grouped by clicking on these little yellow eyes. So for things that involve lodging are booked together, transportation, cruises, things that are more attraction, entertainment, of course, dining, insurance, security, tour director, miscellaneous being more like rentals, permits, merchandise, and then internal. So those are things you might have put as standard or no task. Maybe you put an amount on one of those. And then down here, you'll have your total expenses paid and your total booked costs. All products, we can see they match, which is great. It means that we paid the right amount and nothing is still owed to us. And then here we have just showing you the budgeted versus booked for what ended up happening with this trip ultimately. So we had planned for the budgeted markup to stay at 20%, the budgeted admin fee, and all of these different fees to stay the way that they were. The total invoice line items, those are, like I mentioned, maybe that one-off payment of like $1,000. If you had put any of that into Sales Manager, it would show here. We just didn't have any on this trip. And then your comp costs, we can see it did change. And that might be just because of how the products changed with the booking. And then here's the part that you all really care about, the profit and loss. So here we have your income and your total expenses, and then your profit or loss amount and percent. So you can see we were a little below what we were targeting, but if you wanted to go back and look, you can see probably the biggest reason is this airfare. This airfare came out a lot more expensive than we had planned to. But those are things that now you can learn for the future. Okay, maybe we should budget a little more for airfare just in case it comes in high. And then if you want to go ahead and have a document, we're going to click this button here. And it's generating. Close. Okay, and it's going to refresh with the new one there. All right. And this should open fairly quick. I will apologize in advance. My Word has been a little slow lately, but it is opening. Here we go. All right, can you see that, Jim?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. All right, so then you can see this is the Word document that will be generated. Of course, you can save it as a PDF, but we put it in Word, so if you wanted to edit anything, you still can. So on the top in the header, it's just showing you some basic information, the account, the destination, total passengers, and dates. We will be putting these dates into where it'll say the name of the month for those of you that are international, just so you know that is still coming. I did not get a chance to do that before this video. And then up here is just some information about the trip, your company name, just a title and the actual name of the trip. And then this here is going to be what you would hopefully print out of your accounting system. So you would print out the profit and loss report. So as you can see here, we have all of those income categories I mentioned with that amount outstanding, just in case to check. And those expenses. So the ones, of course, that are zero, we just didn't have anything booked in that product type, but you can see how it was grouped for the others. And then we can show the income versus expenses to get a profit or loss. So this is the same information as the last screen. It's just in a Word document format. And as you may have noticed, there's some color coding because I like to color code. So green would be your income and red is going to be your expenses, purple being your ultimate profit or loss. And those are important just because of below. So this is going to be your supporting information of budgeted versus booked. So the green charts are going to be related to income, the first being your breakdown of income. So again, those are those final invoice items that you added. And then we have your client payments received. So as I mentioned, that memo line, those are your notes. Those will appear here for the payment. And then you have your general ledger code that we have just added. And then we have the red being the expenses. So your breakdown of expenses, this is going to be that product report that we looked at the last screen showing, this is going to be the actual payments made. So you can see the general ledger code and the way that you paid this and what it was for. And then this is the one from the previous screen, which is showing you your budgeted amounts versus your booked amounts. And you'll notice it's a little bit smaller, and that's just because the page is a little smaller. So we kind of fit what we could onto that report, which would be the most important things. All right. And that is it.
That is amazing. That is truly amazing. That's a lot of information. I love how thorough it is, but I also have, I'm a color coding person too. So it's like, I love how you can match the color so that way you know, oh, that's the income, oh, that's the expenses. And yeah, that's fantastic, Christina. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks. Long time coming, I know.
Well, if any of you have questions on this, by all means, contact us. You can put in a help desk request by going to help@gtonetwork.com. And again, put help in the subject line, and we will be more than happy to go over this information with you. And also, you know how to contact us. You know how to reach out to us as well, either through the community forum, or you can email us and let us know if you have questions on this. Because I know as you start using it, you may just need a little bit of guidance through it, but that's what we're here for. So make sure that you do contact us if you need any help with that. So Christina, that is just fantastic. And I thank you for joining us today. It's, like I said, I know this has been a long time coming, but every time we do demos, every time we work with people on training and updates and things like that, this is something that's asked about. They want to be able to do those audits and to do those P&Ls and make sure that they're doing things accurately. So this is really big. This is really big. Thank you for that. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to release it.
Yay! One more project that you can tick off that list, right? Well, just a reminder, we do Coach and Goes on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to join us for those Coach and Goes on Tuesdays. If you missed them, as I said earlier, you can watch all of our old episodes of GTO Coach and Go on our YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can, again, connect with us on LinkedIn, and make sure to like our Facebook page as well. Hit our social media channels if you would, please. Also on Thursdays, we have another program called Destination Dispatch. And Destination Dispatch is where we virtually go to different destinations with some of the experts from those locations so that they can give us information on really fantastic experiences for your groups in their destinations. Now, this Thursday, we're going to someplace a little bit different. We're going to Pendleton, Oregon. So make sure to join us Thursday at 2 o'clock for this episode of Destination Dispatch. We've got a lot going on. So it may be summer, and I know many of you may be out and watching this after the fact, so I hope you're enjoying your summer. I know that we are enjoying it whenever we can, whenever we're not doing more of these projects. But I know the year's going by very, very quickly. For those of you who will be at CIDA in another week and a half, I will see you there. So make sure to look me up at the Student Youth Travel Association Conference in Washington, D.C. next weekend. Thank you all so much, Christina. Thank you again. We really appreciate you coming on and giving us this fantastic information today.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Excellent. Well, everybody have a great day. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching this episode of GTO Coach and Go. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and be sure to check out more of our media, including Destination Dispatch and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.